Hello, my name is Abby Norz, and this is my CESP digital story. Throughout my childhood, I was an active member of my community. My volunteer journey started in middle school through my church. I would always volunteer with my mom on Sundays in the nursery, helping take care of toddlers when their parents went to service. This was something that I dreaded doing each week and was more of an obligation for my parents than a personal calling. The first time that I chose my own volunteer project also stemmed through the church. In one of our Wednesday services, every person was handed a $10 bill and told to do one good deed. The pastor gave examples of paying for the person behind you in a drive-thru or giving it to someone at a grocery store. My friends and I pulled our money together and decided to head to the Dollar Tree. There, we bought a lot of small gifts that we were planning to hand out at a local senior center. We got some financial help from our parents in order to accommodate the number of residents. It was great seeing the joy on residents' faces to get a surprise present and, more importantly, surprise visitors to talk with. When I was in high school, my swim and dive team actively was a part of fundraisers and donations. As a team, we raised enough money to fund a wish for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We raised a total of $11,000 in 2020. We were able to pay for a wish for a kid named Ethan who wanted his own pontoon boat to fish from. I was also in Key Club in high school, which was a volunteer club that operated in the community. Through Key Club, I planted trees, collected cans, and my favorite was volunteering in our community haunted Halloween walk. Up until college, all of the volunteer programs I had participated in were due to my family or my friends. Volunteering was more of a social activity than due to following my vocation and calling. Once COVID hit, I became isolated from my community. This led to a severe depression where I had little motivation to do anything. It got to the point where I wasn't sure if I would be able to go to college. I did end up going to the University of Minnesota, however my freshman year was very hard, and I struggled with anxiety and depression. The summer after freshman year, I went home and did a lot of work with my therapist, and I was able to gain more control over my life. This patch of my life was a turning point, and it made me want to become a therapist and help others with mental health struggles. This ultimately led me to choose my major of psychology. What I consider as my first true volunteer experience was my work at Face to Face. This is a youth center that caters to individuals who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. There was an on-site therapist who I worked closely with that met with clients and hosted weekly group sessions. One group that I always joined in on was the LGBTQ+ group that was hosted on Fridays. I loved how much this organization prioritized mental health resources for the kids who came in for support. I volunteered at Face to Face for about a year. I began to learn more about systematic discrimination, which led me to get a minor in social justice. I wanted to continue my work of providing mental health resources to the community, as this is where my vocation lies. In order to do this, I joined the My Health Junior Board as a part of their social media committee. I post health tips on Instagram along with information about the clinic. I recently joined the leadership board as the membership chair in order to increase my engagement within this organization. For my psychology community engagement capstone, I had to find an organization to volunteer 40 hours at that would connect to the topic of my thesis paper. The thesis paper that I wrote was about the impact of animal-assisted therapy. I got an emotional support cat during my depressive episode that has greatly improved my own mental health. We Can Ride is an organization that provides equine-based therapy to individuals with disabilities. I mostly worked with the on-site occupational therapist with kids under the age of 5. I worked with individuals with autism and developmental disorders. Seeing how excited they were to get on the horses was a highlight of my job, and it also opened up a new fascination for occupational therapy. Overall, it solidified my passion of working with individuals and my goals of becoming a therapist. One quote that really summarizes my volunteer experience was said by Gandhi: "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." My volunteer work has really shaped the future career that I am pursuing. I learned through my volunteer work that I enjoy engaging in the community and have a passion for working in nonprofits. I want to eventually go back to school and become a therapist, but I want to take a few years to work and build my skills in communication and client engagement. Next year, I will be working with RTI, where I will be working as a case manager for adults with severe and persistent mental illnesses. In this job, I will be responsible for making sure my clients have the resources they need to live a healthy and independent life. I will be forever grateful for finding CESP and the experiences that it has led me to.